So the third presenter is Joseph Daher. Joseph Daher is a member of the revolutionary left current in Syria. He is the writer and editor of Syria Freedom Forever. And you can find his wonderful blog dedicated to the struggle of the Syrian people in their uprising to overthrow the Assad authoritarian regime and to build democratic, secular, socialist, anti-imperialist, and pro-resistance for Syria. And he will be talking about the grassroots organizing and the myriad different groups that are currently operating on the ground. And he will also be addressing some of the reasons that make solidarity with the Syrian revolution challenging but possible.
Thank you very much, Yasser, and I would like to thank all the people with me on the panel and for the people that came. It's a real pleasure to speak. So let's start on the, as Yasser said, really, it was a kind of implicit, you come to the panel of the bad revolution for a section of the left, unfortunately. Misunderstood on many aspects, and I will come back later on. It's also a mirror in some ways of the weakness of the left, also internationally speaking, I would like to say. So we have to remember that the Syrian popular movement was a huge movement in the beginning of the revolution process, in the beginning of the popular uprising in 2011. And for 6 months, the popular uprising was completely pacific, completely. And people going out singing different kind of slogans like against sectarianism, peacefulness, peaceful against the soldiers that were shooting at them. And after 6 months, and I'll go very fast on this period, we can maybe speak on it later, there was a beginning of the militarization of the revolution. First of all, internally to actually defend the popular protest going out in the streets and the neighborhoods. And after, obviously, you had different interventions from various countries in the region, especially Gulf monarchies. But this came, as Yasser said, after the massive intervention of Iran to help the Assad regime, and of course Russia and for more freedom, and that the only flag that represents them is the flag of the revolution that you see, this one. And you have to know that Zahran al-Loush, who had just been welcomed in Turkey, by the way, for a high meeting of ulama, religious scholars, is the one also that has been accused to have kidnapped the 4 revolutionaries that are Ghazan Zaytouni and her comrades, which are a great personality of the Syrian revolution and have been opponents of the Assad regime for some of them decades. Before this, you had, for example, in different neighborhoods of Syria where it's possible, you still have the weekly demonstrations, like the famous Kaframbel in eastern Syria, and other neighborhoods like, for example, a couple of neighborhoods in Aleppo, which are not under the domination of Islamic fundamentalism or Assad regime. For example, you have Bustan Qasr, Sheikh Mahsoud, that do usually weekly demonstration depends. I'll come back on this neighborhood because it's really important. But for the past few months in different liberated areas, you had, for example, workshops and conferences around, for example, in Idlib or Ghouta, Western Ghouta, or the countryside of Hama, workshop on women's rights, on human rights issue, about what kind of democracy do we want. It has been made by different popular organizations active in these kinds of regions. You had campaigns, we want to learn. For example, it was only in April I'm talking about, in Idlib, Dar'a, Western Ghouta, towards sending a message to the parents of the children that it's still important to send their children to school despite the war, despite the difficult social conditions. So, and this was a completely self-organized by the people in this region that are completely liberated. In March, during the 4th year anniversary of the revolution, you had this huge campaign throughout Syria that was raise the flag of the revolution. that was made against the symbols of the flag of the Assad regime and the flag, the black flag of the jihadist and Islamic fundamentalist forces. So you had in Aleppo big campaigns with this flag in Dera, Idlib, and other regions, Rif Hama. And actually, for the 4th anniversary of the revolution in Aleppo, the neighborhoods I was talking to you about, that have been under the complete bombing for nearly on a daily basis for the past 2 years. Imagine that these neighborhoods have been on the bombing of the Assad regime planes for the 2 last years, and still they organize different issues. For the 4th years of the revolution, they organized the carnival with chanting, dancing, concerts, also distributing the flag of the revolution to the people, doing kind of a photo exhibition, putting throughout the streets of Aleppo the pictures of the martyrs, of symbols of the martyrs of the revolution, also with slogans that were at the beginning of the revolution, like Arabs and Kurds are one, or the Syrian people are one and united. Because we have to know that in certain neighborhoods of Aleppo, like the Al-Shafi'i neighborhood, is majority inhabited by Kurds. And they have been very active since the beginning of the revolution on a democratic basis with the other neighborhoods of Aleppo that are mostly Arabs. You had this also this campaign, and again in Western Ghouta, which was called Ishtaki campaign, which was a campaign made by local activists that put like little boxes in different streets to ask the inhabitants of this region if they have any complaints against armed groups that are present in this region. And you have to know that in these kind of regions, Western Ghouta and Dara, you still have the Free Syrian Army, groups that have a lot of influence, that have still a good presence. And it's in this region that you know that they refused the Southern Front, which is a coalition of different free FSA brigades, refused any kind of collaboration with Jabhat al-Nusra, Syrian.